It is time to make the sound to summon the stream. Wow, 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 wow. Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Coil Quickcard, and welcome back to RPG Maker. Today we are not going to be working on the big community project, since there's still a lot of stuff that I need to build in that in order to get ready to really, meaningfully advance it. So today we are going to be working on my Bad Gacha Game project, which I did one stream on a couple months back, and then you've basically heard nothing about it. I will update on you on that real quick, but 1 second, I just got a text where... Oh, okay, no, work didn't change my location, they're just confirming it. Alright, perfect. Alright, so, let me provide you a few updates and a refresher on this project. I was struck by a question a few months back. Would it be possible to build a gacha rolling system in RPG Maker? And long story short, yes it is. And it is exceedingly complicated. Yeah, it's very, very involved. Thank God I put comments on here. I actually need to, look at this again. The stuff I've been working on didn't specifically involve this. So when a roll is activated, it goes to rolls 1 tier. So it's generating a number between 1 and 1,000 to determine the roll. So if you roll the 1, the worst thing possible, then... No. If you roll a 1, you get the highest possible tier. You get a tier 7. Then there's a very low odd of a tier 1, slightly better one, decent odds for tier 6, tier 5, tier 3, tier 2, tier 4, and then it rolls for the unit ID. Class of unit check, place banner modifiers after gacha class value. Oh, okay, so right now it's running 1 and 2, where it is determining the class of the character. So that's going to be attacker, healer, defender. And then it's rolling the element. And then it goes to the party adjustment. I feel like there used to be more here. I feel like I had this massive, confusing chain somewhere that I was using. Whoops, don't need that. Actually, that should be on the other screen anyway. Okay, so I might have at some point closed this without saving something that was unbelievably important, which kind of sucks. But the point is, that's not the focus for today. Today we're working on skills and characters. Yeah, it does provide you... This is what I was using to test that it was actually rolling randomly. So this is supposed to generate the appropriate character at the appropriate tier and then reset their motivation. And transfer their motivation if they were a higher character. Yeah, I had like an entire thing here. I'm probably going to have to check my older stream just to even work on that, assuming that I did stream it. So today we're going to be designing some characters. So the basic idea is that we have a vaguely sci-fi gacha game. There's going to be 6 elements in the game. There's Earth, sea, sky, sun, moon, and stars. So 6 elements, and then 3 character classes. Those being attacker, defender, and healer. And then there are 7 tiers of every unit, and then 1 unit for each of those combinations. So I believe that gets me up to 18 characters, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. So 18 characters, which should be relatively manageable. I have gone ahead and I have adjusted all of the stats for all of the different classes all the way up to level 10. Depending on the tier of each class, I assigned a value to their stats, life, stamina, power, and defense, and then had ranges which applied to what those stats are within those ranges from level 1 to level 10. I put all of those in there, calculated my pulling odds, made sure I had my elements, loyalty level, which relates to the combat system, and I designed a few characters to start with. And it's going to be a hell of a thing trying to keep track of all this. So I've got a lot of tables. Unit ID 1112. We're actually just going to go ahead and make the chart here. So the first number refers to the element, the second number refers to the class. So 21, 22, 23, 31, 32, 33, 41, 42, 43, 51, 52, 53, 61, 62, 63. These are going to be the unit IDs, which are used in the gacha calling system. So each one will be associated with a single character, and I will make sure to list their class, their name, and their element as well. I did design a few characters for testing purposes. Unit ID 11 is this character named Kessie. And the general idea of the design is that we have consistently increasing complexity and hopefully coolness the higher tier the character gets. So your tier 1 characters are essentially nude. They've just got their underwear. Your tier 7 characters are obscenely decked out and awesome. So Kessie is our 1-1, which makes them the Earth Healer. So Kessie, Healer, Earth. The next character I designed was Unit ID 25, Thoom, who, honestly, I really like the design on that. Thoom looks pretty cool. Definitely you can see the increasing complexity in the design. So 25... Oh, okay. Apparently I was doing class first and element second. So we're actually going to have to adjust that. So it should be 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4 2 5 2 6 2 3 1 3 2 3 3 3 4 3 5 3 6. There we go. Okay. So 2 5 was Thoom. So second class would make him an attacker, I think. So 2 5. Fifth element is what on my list? Fifth element, Earth, Sea, Sky, Sun, Moon, Star. So he is a moon protector. Okay. I already had it on my list. Moon protector, and then the third character I already built was NFT, who is a moon attacker. 3 5 NFT attacker moon. And NFT I tried to make just the greasiest looking tech bro. So he is obscenely pasty and eventually devolves into an unshorn mess before finally adopting his true form as a well-groomed furry, as is the way of the tech bros. So, yeah, that is 3 out of 15 characters done. And we are going to spend most of today just building additional characters. So there is one that I wanted to do. This was inspired by... there we go. This one was inspired by an SCP, specifically SCP-049, which is more commonly known as the Plague Doctor. So, ultimately, we are building up to a point where the dude just has, like, a Plague Doctor mask, which I think I have a couple different options for. No, they are basically the same. Okay. So we want to give a very dark skin color, since 049's robes are supposed to be its body. It's not a 1-to-1, but this is how we are going to start with it. Those look like good enough eyes. Let's just make the eyes dark as well. Mouth, just something kind of neutral. I think that's a decent enough starting place. Hello, Aubrey. Okay, so this is going to be... What do I want them to be? I know I want them to be a healer. So what element should they be? I need input from chat. They can be any of these elements. Sea, sky, sun, moon, or star. So it's going to be a dark-skinned healer that's going to end up in a plague doctor mask. That's the general design we are going for. And while I think about that, we can clean up this this chart a little bit. Oh god, what have I just done with this paste command? Oh. Oh no, I think it's going to try to apply that to every individual cell in an infinite row. Okay, so that's a very bad command that I just tried to give it. That is quite concerning. Assuming this doesn't just crash the spreadsheet, I will just have to undo this. That's fine. We'll let it run in the background. Sky, stars, I mean, if we're doing a plague doctor, the entire idea behind the traditional plague doctor mask is that they would burn incense inside the long noses, because the idea was that essentially bad sense, that something in the air, was able to cause the disease, and that the incense, by overpowering that air, would be able to ward off this miasma. Yeah, it is just going to crash. I'm not surprised. So I think Sky is a good combo. So Plague Doctor is going to be ID 13. And the name of the Plague Doctor is SCP-049. So I thought that 049 would actually make a pretty good name. Yep. Alright, we got that recovered. Good. Alright, let's try this again. There, an actually appropriate pasting job. Thank you. Yeah, just make that a little bit longer. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so 1-3 is going to be 049. And I think that is a good way of spelling it, where it's a little less obvious where it's coming from, but the reference is definitely there. And then we need the walking character, and this is going to be 13049. Alright, and now we have to start decorating the character. So at tier 2, we do want to have some clothing. We could just go straight for the robe now. Or we could save the robe a little later and just sort of start out with a vest. This is more like a Hakama type situation. I think that works. Okay, this is shoes. The shoes can be nice and dark. And then this is the color of the collar. I think that works as a color for the collar. And honestly, this is probably enough. This is probably enough for the tier 2 character. So just go ahead and save 049 tier 2. First we import the old sprite sheet, add a new part to it, and then we save it. There it is. Okay. And now we work on tier 3. I think tier 3 is where we first apply the Plague Doctor mask. And we can play with the colors of it as we level them up a little bit more. And here I think we can also apply a cape or cloak. So I think this is good for a tier 3. And import. I really am bothered by the fact that I think I lost my the motivation event that I created. There's still so much event work it's going to take to make this work. Unless... That's where I put it. This is where I put the roles. I started lining them up. I knew I had a giant confusing common event somewhere, which also works with the motivation transfer and the XP transfer. This was what I worked. I knew I had this somewhere. Here we go. Cole, if you're still there, this is what happens when I actually work on a big, confusing common event. This is what big, confusing common event looks like. This entire common event, all of this, everything here is just for one character. This is all just what happens if the gacha system says that you have rolled unit ID 11. So I'm going to have a full fleshed out system like this for all 18 characters. And basically, it's going to have to constantly change. All the references to the name, all the references to the type, all of the images, every single one of these things is going to have to be adjusted for every single character I create. It's going to be an absolute nightmare, and I am so excited. Alright, I got the walking character, so I think we are ready to go to tier 4. So now is where we're actually starting to get like a really good design. Okay, that covers up the plague mask, so that won't work. Does accessory 2 automatically stack over accessory 1? Because if it does, I might be able to do that. Yeah, accessory 2 is stacking over accessory 1. Um, we can go headband. Okay, we can't really change that. And that does not particularly add anything. This, ooh, that might work. Can I make that dark? Mm, I think this works better dark. Hello there! Thought it was a Tuscan Raider for a second. Not quite a Tuscan Raider. Hello there. What is it? Just Pawn? I can't tell if that's a. I can't tell what the first character in your name is. Oh, it's an S. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't tell that was an S from the font. Thank you for clarifying that for me. I appreciate it. Um, and this is probably the jewel. There we go. We just stack that up a little bit more. So I think we will start going with a darker mask from this point. No, I don't think darker mask works. Um what about I think that color works. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think that works. And is there anything else I can do to spice up the clothes a little bit? Maybe like a fancier robe or something. Ooh. Okay. Okay, I like that. All right, this is our tier 4. This is our tier 4049. It's a little tougher to do good tiers when you can't really see much detail on the face. But I think it'll be fine. It is visually distinct enough that I think it'll work. Okay. So now we move on to tier 5. So now we are really starting to get tougher. So how the hell do I represent that? Ooh. Now might be the time to go for the black. Um, okay. Can I add facial marks? I just need something that's going to cover a good portion of the face. That that does work. but I don't think it's quite what I am going for. Okay, we can't just move eyebrows into a weird spot. None of these work. No. We could definitely adjust the cape a little bit. Make it a little darker, adjust the cape. Adjust the coloring a bit. I think that's good enough for tier 5. Under most conditions, unless people are just stupid, ridiculously lucky, tier 6 is probably the highest they're ever going to see. So that is definitely distinct enough that I think it works. Okay. And I think now we need to adjust the outfit again for the next tier. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can I combine a face mask with a hood? Is there any other, like, decent piece of headgear that would combine with... Oh! Oh, holy crap. Okay, you really can't even tell that the thing isn't coming out. That kind of works. That really kind of works. Okay. Ooh, goggles? Goggles works. Ooh, yeah. Okay. That looks pretty cool. Can we get any more visible face marks? Nope, that one does work best, I think. Okay. So it was this color. So let's adjust the color slightly. Another game. Today I'm so today I'm working on my Bad Gacha Game project. The community project will be back next week, but there's just a lot in the community project that I still need to lay down before we can like meaningfully start designing new areas. So I'm taking a couple weeks to work on that, and today I'm just doing the my Bad Gotcha Game project, where mostly I'm just designing characters. Oh, glasses! I didn't even, think about that. I didn't even, think about that. I didn't even 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 think about that. I d Okay, no sunglasses here. But with the clothing adjusted a little bit, I think we can change it to more of a purplish color. So this is going to be 049 Tier 6, which is probably the strongest 049 almost anybody is ever going to see. The Tier 6s and 7s really have the most extreme deviations. And now, finally, we are going to stick a hood on. And we're going to change the color to red. Oh. Oh, God, look how good that looks. That is so good. And, okay, not sunglasses, because you absolutely cannot see the sunglasses. But the cloak is going to change again. Yeah. Okay, tell me that does not immediately escalate the design to a whole other level of looking awesome. So that is going to be the Tier 7049, the Sky Healer. It's eye-catching for sure, yes. Every Tier 7 design should be immediately eye-catching. The other Tier 7s that I have, this one is probably the least eye-catching, but the walking character looks best. This one just becomes a furry with a mustache, which works. But you can really see the difference in the walking sprites, where, yeah, the Tier 7s are very, very busy designs. Okay. That is excellent. Let's continue to clean up this a little bit. Just so my charts are a little bit easier to look at. Yeah, let's insert a column. Let's leave one space of gap between these. Okay. Character IDs, you can all go here. Whoops. Let's actually raise up that font a bit. There we go. And move all of that up here. We are just consolidating the information a little bit. Healer, protector, attacker. Okay. I just want all of this information to be a little bit cleaner to look at a glance. There we go. And just in case I need to reference my numbers again, and but I think everything fits. So 049, ID number 13. That's 4 done. That leaves 14 more characters to design. Oh. It didn't save the changes that I had made to here before the spreadsheet crashed due to my negligence. Let's just clean that up a little bit. So this one is Kessie, who is a healer, earth healer. We just made 13, who is 049, who is a healer and the sky element. We have 25 is Thug, who is a moon protector. Oh. Whoops. Here we go. And NFT 35, who is a moon attacker. NFT attacker moon. Center the text on all of those. Bold these rows and columns. Okay. Hello, what? Welcome to the stream. We are designing characters today. Which one should we design next? Chat, you can decide. Any of the spots here that do not have a name in them, any that are just a number, go ahead and pick, and we will design that one next. So you can design a healer, protector, attacker, and elements earth, sea, sky, sun, moon, or star. You can tell me the number, you can tell me what you want me to design, and we will start working on it next. What sounds fun? And any general ideas for a theme or a starting point for that character will work as well. Oh, yeah, I forgot the other thing I did. I completely designed the weapon system for the whole thing. So there's 7 tiers of weapons, and then the 7th and final tier of the weapons gets like a special name. The others I'll get around to renaming more as I go. So I did design the weapon systems. I did design the classes. We've got all of my notes here. Oh boy, that's a lot of stuff. Basically, we've got axes, whips, bows, swords, scythes, guns, claws, spears, staffs, knives, and clubs. Every character can use 3 types of weapons. All the classes with astral elements, those are be sun, moon, and star, can all use clubs. All the ones with terrestrial elements, earth, sea, and sky, can use knives. All healers can use staves. All protectors can use spears. All attackers can use claws. All star elements can use guns. All moon elements can use scythes. All sun elements can use swords. All sky elements can use bows. All sea elements can use whips. And all earth elements can use axes. So every character can end up using 3 types. A big wheel healer may or may not like cheese. Okay, what? You've given me my first idea. Expand on that a little more. A cheese character. How do I go about making cheese, and which element should they be? If they're going to be a healer, it leaves sea, sun, moon, and star, since I do already have an earth healer. Now you made me imagine the sun pulling out a gun. Nah, sun gets swords. Cheese. So far, the next suggested character to make is cheese. But I need a little more information than just cheese. Actually, This is probably really hard for you to see on your screen. Let me zoom that in. So anything highlighted, anything highlighted that is just a number is a place where I still need to design a character. So we've got 4 characters: Kessie, 049, 049, Thug, and NFT. Moon, because the moon is made of cheese. Oh my god, that's brilliant. Okay, so we're going to be designing Moon Healer, ID number 15, and it has something to do with cheese. Okay. Let's make it a girl. We want this to be a popular gacha, so it definitely needs to have something. A character who's a goblin who's controlling a mech. I don't think I can do that well in the art. Okay, cheese. How do I do cheese? First things first, let's take off all accessories and clothes so we can start from a blank slate. Okay, cheese. I think this color might be the closest we can get. A golem made of ice. Ooh. Okay. C would probably work for a character who looks like they're made of ice. Would you want them to be a healer, a protector, or an attacker? Mouse ears. Okay. What's the closest we can get with mouse ears? Okay, so the next one we're going to design after this, we're going to design sea attacker. Everybody's supposed to be more or less human, but I can definitely take Ice Golem as a starting point for the aesthetic. Mouse ear. Ooh. Okay, that works. I think just about most of the front hairs will cover up mouse ears. Let me think. If I want to go mousy, maybe something that's a little bit more let's see, how do I want to do this? We definitely need something different for the hair. If we want to stick with a cheese theme, we could go for reds and yellows. I mean, that's already a pretty damn eye-catching design. Kind of squinty mouse-like eyes. Red eyes. I think the yellow works better. Eyebrows. Something like that. A real button nose. Some of them start off center because I combined parts from the generators of both MV and MZ. But this smug little smirk off to the side, I think I love it. Okay. Okay, this is our starting point. This is our tier 1 cheese character. So now we need a name. What is the name of our cheese character? The Moon Healer ID 15. It's gotta be a cheese pun. It has to be a cheese pun. So, sci-fi setting, cheese, moon element, healer class. We need a cheese pun. Does anyone have any ideas for a cheese pun? Brea? Okay, Brie. Bria or Bria? You know what? Let's just combine all the vowels. Since I can't decide between EA or IE, we'll just combine them all. And now it's IEA. Her name is Brie. Or Brie? Yeah, Brie. Okay, Brie, ID 15, is born. There we go. And we'll make a note of it in the chart. ID 15... Brie. That is absolutely perfect. Okay. So now we need our first batch of clothing. What do we think for the first tier of clothing? Maybe something... Definitely not armor. I don't know. Do we want to go for robe? Do we want to go for armor? Do we want to go for like an outfit? I think this works. I think this works really well. So again, we want to go with those oranges and yellows. That's a little too dark. Can the Ice Golem attacker be called Slusher? Yep, you just named it. Ice Golem named Slusher. Thank you very much. That is wonderful. And then the final color is just like this little collar. Collar and shoes. Okay, I think this is our tier 2. We're going to import Brie. That smug little mouth. It's so funny to me. Okay, that's Brie tier 2. So now for tier 3 is where we need to start deviating a little more from the base design. So I think the first thing we want to do is adjust the eyes a bit. This looks so absurd. Okay, Now with like the little tongue hanging out. Okay. Um. Oh, this is so dumb. This is so dumb, and I'm all about it. All right. Let's also go for the mouse tail, which is orange. And finally, let's find some kind of a basic accessory. Doesn't need to be anything wild. Okay, I don't think the ears have actually been attached to the body in any of these. That's probably fine. Um, no one's gonna notice on a tier 1 or tier 2. Horns, a hat, ninja band, headdress. You also have an idea for a mechanic. As far as the game mechanics go, that's mostly going to just stay in my purview. Since it does need to be relatively limited or it's going to be impossible to balance. Okay. Here's our tier 3. There we go. We see a little bit of escalation on the design without starting to get real crazy yet. Actually, we should do something because the walking design is basically indistinguishable from the previous tier. Yeah, we'll just adjust the color on it, and that way the face image can stay the same, but there is like a subtle but definite visual difference. Okay, moving on to tier 4. So for tier 4, I think what I want to do is adjust the hair. Do we want to make it more wild or... Ooh. Ooh. What about like that? No. We really don't want to cover the ear. Ooh. There we go. I'm really not a fan of that rope. Surely we can do like a better one. Okay. And I think it's also time to adjust the clothing a bit more. Go for more of a pink with a different hair. Is there a way to make passive abilities in MZ, like abilities in Pokemon? Yes, but it depends exactly what kind of passive abilities you want them to have. Yeah, this handbend worked well before. Alright, so this is our tier 4 Brie. Very good. I mean, some abilities are extremely easy to reproduce, and some abilities are extremely difficult. Like, for example, if I wanted the ability Thick Fat, then I would just, like, take two elements, set it to 50% each, and boom. Now I have the Thick Fat ability. Hello, Suleiman. Welcome to the stream. Today we're working on a Bad Gacha game. I want to make one, like, passive I want to make is called Double Down, which the more you use attacks in a row, the more powerful it gets. I will have to get back to you on the Discord on that later. That should be possible, but that would be like a 20-minute side adventure trying to play with it right now. Okay. So we've had 2 times with the mouth the way it was before. So I think it's time to fiddle with it once more. Honestly, this one's just kind of cute. The eyes, we can adjust very... More you use one specific attack. Making it an attack is way more easier than making it a... than doing it as a passive ability just one character gets. Yeah, doing it as an attack would actually be much, much more simple. Okay. I think that works. Let's decorate the face a little bit. I am partial to the freckles, but we can also add, like, a light blush, some orange. We're just sort of marbling them some more. Yeah, those are all doable. They're just outside the scope of the current project. Okay, I think now we really need to change the clothing much more visibly. This is going to be the tier 5. So we are really starting to escalate the design at this point. It needs to get a lot more... It needs to get a lot more, I think, is just a good way to put it. Or by going more, we could just go for, like, more kind of cutesy. Or we could just have her be a princess now. She can just be the cheese princess. With the deeper red highlights. What is this even changing? Okay. Those are all good ideas. Just not quite what we're working on today. And walking character, this is Brie tier 5, which is very distinctly different. So now we need to, like, really escalate this design. So how do we really escalate this design? Hoods, cloaks, horns. A hat. We escalate the design with a hat. Or at least that is one possibility. Cheese hat? Cheese hat might work. Cheese hat, earring. Adjust the coloring on the clothing a bit. This adjusts the trim slightly. No. No, I really don't think this goes... I think this goes more with the kind of vibe I am looking for. We could definitely add sunglasses at the next level. That would be a good way to immediately escalate it. Give them angrier eyes. And make the eyes red. That is how we escalate Brie to tier 6. Okay. Yes, that works, and it is visually distinct. And then for the final stage, we add cool sunglasses. And we could lean into, like, the princess vibe we got going here. Or I guess I could just add a ribbon. Or a crown? I think a crown works. No, that's a bit much. We need something more subtle. Okay. And then the first accessory was an earring. We can definitely make this a little something more elaborate. And then the rear hair we are going to adjust as well. The clothing can go can shuffle its color a little bit. Planning to make a difficulty hack of Leaf Green with Fakemon. Oh, that'll be cool. Okay, this is our tier 7 Brie. The tier 7s really should just be ridiculous. And I think I have captured ridiculous pretty well here. Okay, Cole, your ice golem. Should we have it be a man or a woman? Because we are going to get the start on C attacker. So ID 32 is going to be called Slusher. All right, Slusher. Okay, how do we make Slusher work? Tier rolls work. So the class value is going to be a number between 1 and 3. The element value will be a value between 1 and 6. Okay. That should work. The skills in this project are going to be a lot more limited than in the other project. They're going to be a lot more basic. In fact, while I think about this ice golem, I can actually get some of my stuff integrated, some of the skills. Attack, normal attack, all of this. The element is going to be earth. Sure. And yeah, just chucks a rock. So this is going to be earth attack. Now, as far as the special gains, this is where I need to think a little more. Like 10 of them enables you to do a special attack, I guess. So the C attack, which is C element. We don't need the notes on these ones. And water. Okay. And then sky attack, which is going to be wind. Just like that. Sky element. So I need 3 more basic attacks. This one is sun element. So sun. Sure, that's close enough for sun. one does visibly have arrows in it, though. Think that's a little bit better. So the sun attack, the moon attack, which just looks like that, I guess. That's fine. And finally, the stars attack. These are going to be the basic attacks for all of my characters. Actually, that looks pretty good. Uh... I think that one for here, and then sun. Instead of light pillar, we'll just give it a thunder. Oh, that works. Okay. What does thunder 2 sound like? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we can go back into designing. Did you read what he said about Slusher's gender? I actually hadn't. I was kind of busy. It's a being made of ice, and Slusher's an androgynous name, so why couldn't it choose itself? I mean, the setting for this is like super science fiction. Like, the entire idea behind how this gacha system works is that humanity has basically reached a point in technology where consciousness itself is easily transferable, backupable, recreatable. All these characters basically have their consciousness exist within... Basically, they're on a ship, the ship is attacked, and now they're basically managed to get like a stalemate with invaders on the ship, and they're fighting over control of something called the Soul Core. And basically the Soul Core is able to contain and reproduce consciousness itself. So we are far past any concept of binary identity, and we're at a point of like heavy both genetic and physical augmentation. But the reason I ask if it's a boy or girl is because I gotta start my character creator from one of these. What are even the options for kid models? Because I could definitely do a kid model at some point. But probably we would want to go with male if we want to do something that's like really big and bulky. So first, let's disable all of the parts. Turn off everything. Okay, we're going to give it blue skin to start. Odd number tiers to be male and the even be female. I don't think it should be weighted evenly. I want this to be a successful gacha, so there should definitely be more prettier girls than prettier men. But we do want to make sure that there are pretty men as well. Let's give like a nice thick face. We want a big, thick face. As far as hair goes, we could make it like icicles. That sort of looks... Ooh. Ooh, I like that. Character D, a rock. It's the first of humanity. I've uploaded consciousness into a rock. Is there anything else to say? It's really not something I could use for this project, unfortunately. Okay, I like that. I like how very rigid it is. Okay. That is a good starting point, I think. It is an interesting idea, for sure. I think this works. I think this works good because it does kind of look like ice. So for ears, let's go for longer ears on this one. Maybe like some bigger, bushier eyebrows to sort of keep with the ice theming. I wondered when would I ever use these eyebrows, but these actually work really well here. We want to give a real big bulbous nose for a mouth. Like that. And finally, eyes. Okay. Cole, what do you think of this as the starting point for the ice golem? We can also put like some blue marks on the face. Probably not the clown makeup. The blush might work here. Ooh, or we could go like that. This one makes the character model really distinct. Cover up its mouth with something like an ice mask. That would be a great idea for later ones, but we're just going for a very... just for like the tier 1 model right now. Okay. I think this has to be it. I think this is our guy. So this is Ice Golem ID 32. Okay. Whoops. It's fine. We're gonna save over the rest anyway. It's not a problem. 32 Slusher. Okay. That is our tier 1 Slusher. I think it might be good to go with the minimal clothing at first. Okay. Do you think this one, number 1, or this one, number 2, works better as a face covering? Or this one, number 3? And we're just worrying about the shape right now, not necessarily the color. The colors we can definitely dial in. This will be a great accessory to add later. Yeah, none of these would really work as just basic face coverings. 3 looks the most natural, you think? This one? Okay. We can work with that. And let's throw on a scarf. But do I want to match with the body color? Or do I want to contrast with the body color? Okay, I think this is a good tier 2 slusher. Okay, and import slusher tier 2. Okay. Next, we are going to add this accessory. And let's make the front hair a little bit more wild. Probably not those. We can adjust the eyes. Okay. That works. Uh... That's definitely distinct enough. Let's actually change the outer color of the cloak. There we go. Okay. And then the walking character. It's not a major difference for the walking character, but it's enough of a difference that it works. And now I think we really want to go all in on like body armor. This is where we're going to actually escalate. Ooh. Okay. That works. Can we get even wilder hair in the back? Yes. Yes, we can. Um, First three are male, the other three female. No. Mm. Um, that's probably not how we're going to approach this. It's probably going to be 66% female. Um, for the sake of the gotcha. Okay, and we change the face mark a bit. I wish I could stack the face marks. But we will adjust their color slightly. The mouth cover we're going to make darker. Okay. I think this works. Fire golem. Maybe. I don't have clear ideas for most of the character designs yet. I'm mostly just kind of winging it. Alright, so now we need to escalate this design again. What do you have? Hmm. Someone's gonna have to use that mask for sure. None of these quite seem to have the kind of effect that I want. That I think this one works. You want the Viking helmet? Oh yeah, Viking helmet actually does work thematically, doesn't it? Um Okay, we undo the front hair so that it fits better. But we can still do like a wild hair out the back. Okay. And angry eyes. And we'll give it an angrier mouth, or maybe like a grin. Idea for Fire Golem: a defensive character who's a princess, slushers, or page protection. Yeah, setting is really something that's just gonna be already fixed. This is definitely not going to be something that is anywhere near as flexible as our other project. Okay. I I think that works for our tier 5. Okay, then I said no idea, and you said you wanted women. Yes, I understand that. I am working very slowly and very patiently, one concept at a time. Bits and pieces of different ideas will be adopted. Okay. So now we go up to the next tier. And this is where we really escalate to like full armor. Okay. I think that works. Let's go for the big colorful eyes and make them purple. This is definitely enough for the tier 6. The only question is, what the hell do I do from here to deliver on a tier 5? Or on a tier 7? Okay. For a tier 7, we are going to change up the colors. And we're going to add some highlights onto it. We're going to give it a cloak. And accessory 1 is going to go to this. And this thing, we're going to change its colors. Okay. Very good. So here is our Tier 7 Slusher. I know it's not quite an ice golem, but it's a decent start. Okay, so we've designed 2 more characters today. So we now have 6 down. We still need to do another 12. So I'm going to pick one to do. I haven't done anyone in the sun category. And we've only done 1 protector and no protectors on stream. So I'm going to work on Sun Protector ID 24. And for this one, I'm going to start with the kid model. So now we're going to design our princess. I mean, I just said that fits. Yeah. True. Okay. So the tier 1 is still meant to be undressed. And the kid is kind of androgynous. So we do need to put like some kind of covering. I don't just want to have topless tier 1 princess. I don't believe that is appropriate. So what is the most like basic thing I could have worn here? Probably that. We could go for something that has wings from the very start. We haven't done anything like that yet. Is the demon horns still an option in the kid generator? No, it is not. Okay. Where I was putting a young girl in a bikini. That is definitely not a bikini. Didn't think we got to appeal to the Genshin players. It's a bad gacha game. We got to appeal to the Genshin players. That's the whole name of the game. Okay, so the first thing on my mind is like demon princess. So we'll go for the twin tails with light blonde hair. Ears are fine. Eyes. Just do that. Green eyes. Why not? Eyebrows. Don't need to worry too much about it. That's fine for a nose. Mouth. Okay. That's fine. Alright, I should settle on the colors that I'm going to be using for the wings. Purple works. I could just go red. I could go for something more along the lines of like a tiefling. Um... Okay. Okay, I think that works, and then the clothing's just gonna be the most boring, uninteresting color combination possible. Wait, this is sun. This would probably work more thematically. For star? Uh... Hmm. Maybe sky? This might be better for sky protector. Uh... We could just make it like more yellow. We could go back to the blonde. Yeah, okay. This will work for sun. So I guess we're going for a light themed sun protector girl, I guess. So that's ID 24. What the hell do I call her? I have no idea right now. But I can still work on it without knowing what the final name of it's going to be. Okay. That works. So there was something I had found that worked pretty good for hair. Yeah, that works pretty good. We immediately get like an accessory. Little bow or something. Uh... Hmm. A little flower works. It's subtle. I think that's okay for now. And then we can adjust the colors a bit. Literally cannot tell what this is adjusting. It's definitely visually distinct, though. So I think that works. Okay, so for tier 3, let's start adjusting the eyes. We can go for the one fang. That doesn't quite work. I think the main thing we want to do here is change the clothing. No, that one's a bit too subtle. Okay. That works, I think. Um... Yeah, I think that's fine. So there's the tier 3. I'm going to design this character and then one more, and then that will be where I end the stream for today. So the big difference on this next one is going to be in the rear hair. So we've gone from the twin tails to I guess kind of like a more like a royal braid sort of thing. I think that one makes a more interesting look. No, we'll stick with the single fang for now. There we go. Little dimples. Honestly, that's enough. That's enough of a change for tier 4. Okay. So for tier 5, the clothing is going to be the main difference. There we go. Go for the highlights. Make the fangs a little more pronounced. What else? What else? The eyes should be more... That mouth just really doesn't do it for me. But I should do something with it. Okay. That's fine. No, none of those. A ribbon. Ribbon could work. Is that enough? Yeah, that's enough for a tier 5. That's gonna be fine. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely distinct enough for a tier 5. So... Tier 6 adjusted again. Let's finally adjust the front end of the hair. Okay, that looks good. The clothing... we can make it more red. We still really could use... we really could use something else. Glasses... I don't know. We can change the color of the tail. Oh, nope, left the glasses on. Don't want to leave the glasses on. Okay. Okay, I think that works for character ID 24. I still don't have a name. I still don't have a name for this. For this character. But we really need to... we really need to escalate. So we're going to go with... like dyed hair. And buns. The eyes. Should be much more aggressive. The mouth can be kind of smug. There we go. Just completely change the entire feel. Okay. Sola, like solar. That's perfect. Thank you, Cole. Alright, this character's name is 24 Sola. And we can go ahead and delete the old version. The tier 6 and 7 designs absolutely just need to massively deviate. They should be immediately eye-catching. I think Sola does that pretty well. So ID 24 is going to go to Sola. Not bad. So Sola is the Sun Protector. Sola, Protector, Sun. We also need to add Brie the Moon Healer, 15. Brie Healer Moon. And we also need to add Slusher, 32 sea attacker. 32 Slusher attacker C. Okay. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need 11 more characters. Astrovouch Slender's freaking me wants to pitch a female. Alright, go ahead and pitch a girl. If you've got like a general theme for one of the remaining combinations, you are welcome to suggest it. In the meantime, I have to adjust each of my rank. Every one of my classes has to have their specific elemental attack skill added for every single tier. So I believe that's 27 times I have to do this. No, it's not 27. It's 3 by 7. It's 21. 27 is a multiple of 9. I don't know where I got that one from. But all of the Earth ones need Earth attacks. Earth attack, 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 Earth attack. And then finally the skies. We're not going to do all 6 of the elements right now, but we are going to knock out 3 of them. The 3 terrestrial elements, Earth, Sea, and Sky. Okay. Sky, 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 and sky, 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 and sky. So I should see this on all of them. Earth, 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 Sea, 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 Sky, 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 Earth, 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 Sea, 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 Sky, 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 Earth, 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 Sea, 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 Sky, 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 Sky. Okay, those are all done. All right, so let's see. A sky healer who's a harpy. We already have our sky healer. That's 049. But a harpy. I can work with that. Sky attacker harpy. Okay, you had an idea before you left. Okay. A harpy. Uh, okay. So if I want to do that, airy, like airy and arrow. Looks like you didn't see my idea. Robbie, a broken down robot. I saw your idea. I can't do that. I do not have the tools to make that. I do not have the skills to integrate my own unique assets into this game. Also, these are all supposed to be human or reasonably modified from base human. Robot doesn't really work. Harpy. Okay, so bird-like wings. How can I recolor these? We can make them black. An ice golem worked as a starting point to design a character who was human and who had blue skin and hair that was meant to look like icicles. Robot works as a starting point if I wanted to design something that is meant to be like a cyborg or something. I guess that works. For a harpy, go for something like that. Go for a little more of a kind of like seductive look. I think for a starting point. Something like that. So, how about hair? Just something kind of basic to start. Maybe just some basic long hair to get started. I did like the idea of starting with a purple hair. Eye color. I think that's fine for an eye color. Uh, okay. I think that's a decent enough starting point. So this one is going to be Sky Attacker 33 Airy. Okay, 33 Airy. And that's Sky Attacker 33 Airy Attacker Sky. Alright, we can go ahead and close that since this will be the last one I work on today. 33 Airy. I actually do need to check it again. Maybe for late years she could like lighten up in personality. There's not going to be much. This is not really a narrative game. Yeah, it was 33. Okay. Wait, no, shouldn't it be 34? No, no, that's right. That's right. Sun is 34. Okay. All right. Export. I had her in the wrong spot for 33 Airy. Okay. So for an outfit, I actually want to start her off not wearing a lot. Here we go. Okay, black shoes, red outfit. Uh, let's start with some jewelry. And some horns. And set the attach point there. Okay. I think this will work for tier 2 Airy. And the walking character, Airy. Did I not make the walking character for the tier 1? Oh, god damn it. No, I did not. Well, damn it. Okay. 33 Airy. That's okay. It's not going to take a great deal to backtrack that. There. Walking character 33 airy. Harpies have horns? This one does. Okay. Yep. Turn back on all the things. Okay. And then we are running the facial mark. All right. So now we're back at our tier 2. So for tier 3, we're going to change the wings to black. We're going to add a little thing over the top. Make her look angrier. Adjust the eyebrows a bit. Okay. That's good enough. Yeah, it's distinct. It's subtle, but it's distinct. I think that's all we can hope for. Oh. Oh, God. I was doing battle sprites for all of them, wasn't I? Uh. Well, crap. That sucks. Okay. 33 Airy C. I forgot I was doing side view battles. I'm basically going to have to recreate virtually all the ones I've already made to. No, I didn't do battle sprites. I'd forgotten until now that I was doing side battles. Fuck. Slusher, Soli, Brie, and 049. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and escalate again. We could go silly hat. We could go hood. Oh, wait. I was just thinking how hard it would be to try and recreate all the designs. I can literally just use the VOD as a reference. The exact settings are there. It'll be tedious, but it'll be fine. Maybe lower that a bit. No, that doesn't work. What the hell even is that? No idea. I do kind of like the witch hat. Witch hat's kind of fun. Tricorn is kind of fun. Cowboy hat is kind of fun. Cowboy harpy. And then this would also hide the horns as well. Screw it. This is our tier 4. Do sky attackers get guns? I don't recall. Let's see. Sky attackers get bows. Attackers get claws. No, she does not get guns. But she does have a bow. So I guess that works. And then the Battler, this is going to be 33 Airy D. Okay. Before I do any more changes, no, it's too late to back up on this. There we go. Okay. I think it's time to upgrade the outfit. Okay. And I think it's also time to adjust the hair. We could have her go into a long twin tail. I think that works. Okay, airy. And the walking character, airy. That's the tier 5. And then the battler is going to be 33 airy E. I think that's right. Yeah, that's the 5th. Give her a cloak like a poncho. Will she have a southern accent? No. She will not have a southern accent. Okay. But she can have the poncho. And then the color of the hat can change. We'll take off those facial marks and add a veil. And then barely visible behind that veil, we've got vampire fangs. Very good. And the battler. Export. This is 33 airy F. And then the last one I've been listing as S instead of G, which is a very annoying naming convention. I don't know why I started it, but we'll go ahead and we'll use it. I have no idea what that's changing, but sure. I've already done someone with a blindfold, so I don't want to do that again. But we do want to adjust the eyes. Okay. No other accessory. But we are going to radically change the hair. And make it a darker purple. And the cowboy hat is going to sit a little bit lower. And the wings are going to escalate as well. Yeah, Coles, I hadn't even read that, but you were right. She absolutely needed the bigger wings. That looks so much better. And then the hat itself, there are other cowboy hats. No, there's a tricorn. I could stick her in a tricorn. But I don't think a tricorn gives quite the same kind of vibe. But it does differ the model a bit. And I think that might be the best we can do. Put the cowboy hat back. This changes the model more significantly, though. I think it works. Yeah, but she's still Harpy Cowgirl. She just changed her hat a little bit. I'm keeping this. I think this does a better job of escalating the design, like I'm trying to do. Yeah, it's definitely a more radical change. I think that's for the better. And then this is going to be 33 Airy S. That is not a pirate hat, it's a tricorn. I mean, tricorns were associated with a specific period in time, and that is a time period in which there were, in fact, pirates. But if I wanted someone to be a pirate, I'd put them in the pirate bandana. Okay. Alright, I think that works for now. So I'm going to have to go back and make battle rights for 049, Brie, Sola, Slusher, and the first few parts of Airy. Which, I mean, I'll go through the VOD. I will check the specifics in a few places. Honestly, it shouldn't be too difficult to get those recreated. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just shy of half of all the characters for the Bad Gacha quest done. I'm going to keep working on this project on my own time. The next time I stream the Bad Gacha Game, I will have all of the characters made. I will have a functional gacha rolling system. Oh, Cole, no you did not. It's fine. Look, there is a 1 in 1,000 chance. Okay? There is a 1 in 1,000 chance that a character or that a person will ever get a 7-star poll. Okay? 1 in 1,000, and then it rolls the ID and it rolls the unit ID after it rolls the class. So you're talking a 1 in 18 on top of a 1 in 1,000 to ever see this character rolled. You are far, far more likely to max out in your tier 5 and your tier 6s. So you're going to get your Harpy Cowgirl. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to get them. Yeah, I like everything else about this Trivan Star Airy, just the tricorn hat. You know, I think that's really good. I think that's actually perfect for the gacha design, because this means that you can go onto the forums and you can complain about the highest tier outfit not being as good as the tier below it. And that is an important, healthy part of every gacha community, is people arguing over the outfits. So if anything, I'd say this is merely a sign that this project is completely successful. Alright. I can literally complain right to you. No, you're going to have to do it on the forums after the game enters version 1.0. Sometime at the current rate, probably around 2027. And lastly, I do have the narrative part of the game's opening scene ready. I don't have the characters in it yet because the characters didn't exist, but I do have the text at least. So let's take a look at that and then test some of the role ID system, and then that'll be the end of the stream. Captain, updates? There's been no activity from the enemy ship after our initial barrage. It has either been fully disabled or abandoned. And the intruders? They've barricaded themselves in the secondary fabrication annex. They've already begun mass drone manufacture. They have been methodically cutting off or partitioning various systems. Our defenses? The defensive fabricators can output as quickly as the industrials, but there are too many places being attacked at once to cover. We've prioritized defending power production and the Soul Core. Bastards. They knew exactly how and where to attack. They must be after the Soul Core. Agreed. Nothing else would justify tactics like this. Do we have anyone down there who can coordinate defense? Negative. There was no maintenance scheduled at the time of the attack. Then you all know what we have to do. Captain, are you sure? We don't have time to update the Ingrammatic database. We'll lose about half an hour. We don't have a choice. Everyone hardlock your systems and get to the meeting room. If we survive this, that will take days to fix. More than a week, most likely. But it will keep the intruders from brute forcing the system for months, and we need bodies at the core now. Yes, Captain. Commander, I need you to start an Ingrammatic update right now. There's not enough time to get a full read. Set it to facsimile mode and save it as a simulation. We don't need a perfect copy, just enough to brief us when we wake up again. Understood. The rest of you, head to the meeting room. We will join you shortly. Yes, Captain. You know this won't be enough to win. We don't need to win. We just need to force a stalemate. As long as we control the core, that gives us the advantage. I hope you're right. So do I. I'm beginning the scan now. Alright. So that is the opening scene that you get. And it is the very last memory that whoever our starter character ends up being, the very last conscious memory they possessed before essentially a copy of their consciousness was reconstituted in order to try and coordinate the events of the game. So it's a little high concept, but I do know exactly where I was going and what every single word there means. It will all end up working. So let's take a look here. So every time I interact with this guy, it should generate a new combination of a tier and a unit ID. So here we have Tier 2, Unit ID 23, Tier 2, Unit ID 16, Tier 3, 31, Tier 2, 26, Tier 4, 31, Tier 5, 25, Tier 3, 36, Tier 5, 16, Tier 4, 14, Tier 3, 31, Tier 5, 21, Tier 3, 33, Tier 1, 36, Tier 3, 26, Tier 4, 21, Tier 2, 23. So this system is working. It is able to generate the random IDs and the random tiers that are going to form the foundation of the gacha system. Good. And for testing this, if we can just get an ID 11, it will activate one of my other testing protocols. Okay. A new ally has appeared. So when you do get someone, it will tell you who they are. It will tell you their name, their rank, and their tier. So this is a rank 3 Earth Healer. The testing is just named John. It's giving multiple messages where it shouldn't. But if I roll a higher tier rank 11, or if a higher tier unit ID 11, John, Earth Healer. So some of my systems still need to be refined a little bit, but in general, I do have the beginnings of the system well built. But dear God, I am going to have to go through this with a fine-tooth comb, trying to find where the errors are, because there's definitely some issues with the messaging. And that's going to be real damn tough to fix. Okay. So we ended up rolling the 3-star Earth Healer. And it set the test character properly. Yes, my channel is monetized. A new ally has appeared. But then why did it give me an upgrade value? Is stuff starting out? I know I've established that there's a difference between a null value and a value of 1 in the variable system of this game for some purposes. Yes, I believe that you can send me super chats. I've never had anyone send me a super chat, so I can't say for sure that the system works, but as far as I know, it is set up. Okay. Ally has been upgraded. Yeah, it's giving me double messages, and I don't fully understand why. I don't know. I'm gonna have to roll through. I'm gonna have to roll through this entire pile. I need this initial event flawless. Oh my god, you are so damn attached to this idea, aren't you? Alright, Cole, because you, in fact, were the very first person who has ever dropped a super chat on this channel, I will give the cowboy hat back to the tier 7 Aerie. I do not fully comprehend why this is so meaningful to you, but I don't have to understand it in order to recognize your passion and respond to it. Because that is how empathy works. So, 33 Aerie S. Okay. In honor of being the very first person to ever donate on this channel, and the first bit of money this channel has ever earned in over 6 years, we shall follow your whims. And now, yes indeed, tier 7 Aerie has a hat. The hat that you wanted. Thank you very, very much for your donation. That's very kind of you. And I do think that's going to be it for the stream. I do need to go and do other things today. And God knows, fixing the stuff I've already built that is just slightly off is going to be a challenge. So, I've got a lot of work to do. I've probably got more than a month of work to do on this project before I do any more updates on it. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today then. So, thank you all so much for watching. Cole, thank you for being here. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you very much for your donation. And, yeah, I think that's it. So, I will see you all on the next one. It is time to make the sound to summon the end of the stream. Wow, 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 wow.